Albert Nickerson was a wealthy man who bought a house along with 100 acres of land on the Charles River. His new neighbors were not big fans of Mr. Nickerson because they did not like his crude Western manners, and went so far as to make an effigy of a bear that said, "Old Nick the Cape Cod Bear," because he was from Cape Cod originally, but the reason for the bear is unknown. But that was just the beginning of Mr. Nickerson's feud with the rest of Dedham. It came to a climax when the town wanted to put a street right through his property that would go to Needham, so Albert was strongly opposed to this. Despite his best efforts, Common Street was unfortunately built. Albert was quite angry about this, mad enough to sell the property to his brother George and leave, never to come back. He actually came back pretty soon after and tried to buy his house back again, after another nearly identical street controversy on his other large property in Cape Cod. George didn't want to sell the land back, though, because he had grown quite fond of the estate, so Albert bought something across the river, the Riverdale property. At some point, Albert decided to build a castle, so naturally he hired an architect and built a castle. There wasn't too much of interest in the actual construction of the building except for a few fun facts. Albert wanted his house simple and not adorned with a splash. It is unknown what the splash refers to, but he didn't want it. All the bedrooms on the second floor were painted with 8 coats of paint, each of which were individually polished to be smooth before the next coat. Why he did this, no one will ever know. There is only one actual secret passage, which leads from the old library to Albert's private quarters. The secret passage that it was rumored to lead to the Charles River is unfortunately non-existent, but that's nothing a little petition can't fix. Throughout all this, Mr. Nickerson remained hated by his neighbors. Once, his wife, Amelia Nickerson, just a side note, the first adjective used to describe Amelia in the document was large. Like, who does that? Anyways, his wife invited their neighbor, Mrs. Warren, over for tea. When Amelia tried to introduce their guest to Albert, who was lying on a couch barefoot, he said, "I don't give a beep." He was also quite reckless, riding his horses to the point of losing control, often needing to call the fire department to save him. Mr. Albert Nickerson eventually died of appendicitis, and his son Richard inherited the castle in 1914. Richard's greatest joy was his gun collection, which included a bayonet that he described with the words, "You stick it in and it cuts, you pull it out and it tears." So yeah, he sounds like a completely sane individual. On August 30th, 1922, the Riverdale estate was finally sold to Nobleman Greenough School, the castle along with it, where we eat lunch to this day and walk amongst the absurd ghosts of the past.